Hello, everybody. This is a very special broadcast. I'm here in my hotel room in Charlotte, and I want you to watch this because something really massive seems to be going on, and I don't see enough people talking about it yet. So, as you can see, the headline is Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals. So, the Pentagon has summoned military officials from around the world for a gathering in Virginia, and even top generals here in the United States and their staffs don't know what the reason is behind the meeting. Now, for those of you who are like, I don't understand why this is a big deal, this has never happened before. And this seems to indicate that something massive is happening. I've got some ideas about what it could be. I'm going to have a friend join me here briefly. He's constantly keeping up with the headlines, but I felt so uneasy that I decided that I was going to jump on. So I need you to do this. Tap the thumbs up button, share this with somebody right now to get the word out for as long as this stream stays up, and we're going to begin to break this down. But I don't know if you even know this, but literally just days ago in New York City, Secret Service agents uncovered in abandoned buildings literal servers that were set up that were connected to thousands of SIM cards, and this system that was created and really well funded actually had the ability to completely shut down New York City's cell phone service. I mean, I live in New York City, y'all. So we barely avoided that. And let me just say, this is a city of 10 million plus people, and somebody really well funded had the ability to build server systems in abandoned buildings and potentially shut down in the entire cell phone network in New York City. So I think something really significant is happening. Here we go. Let me get this guy in here in a second. So we're going to be talking. I'm going to bring him on here just in a few moments, but we're going to talk about Venezuela. We're going to talk about the fact that right now this meeting is unprecedented, and it seems to be indicating that there's something else going on. Let me just say this. If this was for an internal memo, oh, we're going to do this and we need everybody on the same page, you could just simply send an email blast. They have their own communication system electronically. The fact that the meeting was called in person is extremely concerning. So I've got my friend Larry Ragland. Guys, the big picture, I don't know if you're subscribed to his YouTube channel, you should be, but I personally reached out to him. I said, I'm going to need some help. I'm here in Charlotte getting ready to preach at Jeremiah Johnson's conference tonight, and I'm on the edge of my seat because I'll be honest with you, having just gone through what I went through in New York City, knowing that we were, I mean, within hours from the cell phone system completely coming down the grid. And then now I'm traveling, I was extremely uneasy. So I want to talk about this. Let me see if I can join him or have him join in. Hey, Larry, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I'm just hoping that I have some weird anomalous internet stuff that happens every time I attempt to speak on these issues. Yeah, as you may have seen yesterday, I was at the United Nations General Assembly prayer breakfast, and there's just a lot of conversations happening right now. And what do you say about this? I know you're getting ready to go live after this. We're going to push a link to your live stream so people can join. You'll probably go more in depth, but I felt like I needed to
Okay.
sound the alarm and, rally the troops. So what do you see?
Well, I mean, as your opening statement is where I'm at right now. There's not a whole lot of information out there. It's very, very rare meeting. If I'm pushing 60 years old, and I don't remember anything like this happening. Sandy and I, my
Yeah.
wife and I, were talking about it. I mean, from what I understand, over 800 generals and their entire staffs are being summoned to this meeting. And, when I think about it, Pastor Mike, I think about the irony of the fact that they just changed, think of the timing, changed it from the Secretary of Defense to the Secretary of War.
Right.
And just, so this is the first major thing that's happened with the Secretary of War. And you're summoning over 800 generals from every single branch of the military. I mean, that's what you got to understand. Every branch, I mean, from the Space Force all the way to the Coast Guard, all of the highest generals and their staffs, from what is being told, is being summoned to the Pentagon for the by the Secretary of War, and all the things that are going on in Europe right now. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you, my gut, it feels like something bad's about to happen. I mean, on the
Yeah.
global scene.
And I agree with you, which is why I literally put everything aside. I'm, moments away from actually leaving my hotel room to go to this conference tonight. And, for those of you who will be here in Charlotte, my sermon is oddly prophetic. I know that the Lord was speaking, but, there's a lot of tension right now between the U.S. and Venezuela. And some people say that this may be connected. So the
Yeah,
U.S. for those of you
yeah,
who don't know, and I'm sure Larry knows because he's all over this. The U.S. recently conducted what's called a kinetic strike on a
right.
vessel. The administration says was linked to the Venezuelan gang. I think it's Tren de Arugua, but basically Hegseth commented that this would not be a one-off situation. So basically, we did this kinetic strike. It was very controversial. Then like you said, the Secretary of War basically says,
Right.
"Hey, this won't be a one-off." And then he's speaking from Puerto Rico, and he says that U.S. operations in the Caribbean are not training. And in other
Mm,
words, he was signaling that there's a more aggressive posture that the U.S. has towards this. So you've got naval deployments near Venezuela right now. We've got destroyers and other warships out there. And we're saying that we're trying to counter like narcotics missions, but as you know, on the global scale, there's other
yeah.
countries that don't necessarily think this is a legitimate thing that the US is doing, and there's an element of provocation to this. But then Venezuela has responded with its own military moves. Basically, they're boosting up their troop presence in the coast and the border regions to counter the drug trafficking pressures. And this is all considered like highly provocative, this situation. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
have any insight on that, potentially.
Well, I can tell you this. I've got to be very careful with what I say, but I have a person that I connect with that gives me information that's off the record. I have to work very hard to protect him, but he usually has some very in-depth intel. I've got a message out to him. I've just right before I went on with you, I just said, "Look, I'm going live. I think I've got it for 4:30 Central Time," and I said, if you can give me a comment of what you know, maybe I can give some more information about that then. But first of all, we're talking about it dropped out leaked today. From what I understand, this meeting is supposed to happen on the 30th. When I first heard this, I thought they were coming now. Well, the message to go out to get here to me in person went out and was leaked. So supposedly this isn't. I'll just read from this particular article. It says Pete Hegseth has ordered generals and admirals from around the world to gather for an urgent
Yeah.
meeting near Washington on September 30th. The purpose and the timing of this meeting is unclear, even to attendees. People familiar with the matter told Air Force and Space Force magazine. The directive was sent earlier this week, and the meeting is set for Marine Corps Base Bantico in Virginia, south of the Pentagon, next Tuesday morning. It says he'll be addressing all senior military leaders early next week, which will be the 30th. So, in my opinion, you in the days of technology, Mike, of the world, I mean, you're talking about secure video technology
Yeah.
that the government has that's next level that we can't even imagine. Why are you calling them in person? That's
Yeah.
what makes this to me so different than anything else, and why it is everybody's starting to talk about it today is because you could sit down in a meeting and say, okay, look, these are the things that are going on with Venezuela, these are the things that are going on with Russia, and this is the most secure line in the world. But when you have somebody in the room, it's almost like we want to put you in a skiff. We want to put you in a place where this can't be leaked. I need to talk to you about something. Will you shut the door, go in, and I can share with you things that I do not want to put out there digitally that can be hacked. That's my
Right.
opinion.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I went live, because it's like this is dire. Something big is definitely
Yeah,
impending right now. And I want to read this to you guys because I was thinking about this. You might have been like, why was Mike talking about Venezuela? Like, why is that so important?
absolutely.
I believe it's connected to Russia and China. So
Yep.
because Venezuela is a geopolitical arena for influence, so if the US continues to intensify pressure and do these military actions against Venezuela, basically Russia or China could respond. Now it could be like a diplomatic protest. It could be some kind of arms or military signaling to Venezuela, or it can
Yeah.
be intelligence support. So this is what I'm trying to help everybody understand. Then I see many of them in the comment section as well, that the overwhelming consensus on the New York situation with the cell phones is that it was connected
Mhm.
to China.
Yeah.
So it's like this could be a major provocation from the US to Venezuela that triggers something with China. At the same time, though, I've been seeing a whole bunch of social media shills because these countries have tens of thousands of fake accounts that are
Absolutely.
connected to AI. Having
Yeah.
Many of you guys are having full blown conversations with people in comment sections that are not even real. If you
Yep.
haven't read about the dead internet theory, you have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, there's beef between Israel and China. And I've
Yeah.
been seeing a lot of these fake accounts posting like pro Palestinian, anti Israeli from China. And it's like, oh, this is the China influencer perspective. And of course, the United States is aligned with Israel. And so I think things are getting ready to all click into this like next phase. That's
Yeah.
why I wanted to jump on now, because I have a deep sense that
Yeah.
we're at the end. There's something about Charlie's assassination, something about the
Yes.
stadium event. It's like
Yeah.
there's like chapters in a book. We're coming to the end of that chapter. We're
Yeah.
getting ready to click into the next chapter. And as always with my channel, I want to use this to sound the alarm. But Larry, I know you're going to be, you're an incredible pastor. You're a bishop, an apostolic voice in the earth. You also been relentlessly covering these issues. We're going to link to your channel.
Okay.
People are asking who you are in the chat, but we'll get you guys over there because he's going to go live and I'll pass the torch to you. Um,
Okay.
but what do
Can I
you
say one
say?
other thing, Mike?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
want
what
to
I
stop.
literally go ahead.
Okay. Okay. One of the things that people need to remember is BRICS. And so when you're talking about these countries like Venezuela and all these others, they're all a part of the organization that Russia and China are heading up called BRICS, which is, people think about the monetary side of it, the CBDC side, they're creating their digital currency and all this, and that it was only created to basically destroy the US dollar and all of that. But look, it's more than that. When you go into it, it's almost like a quasi their version of NATO. So
Mm,
it's like they're coming in and these countries that are part of BRICS, which what is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa is what the BRICS stand for. But now there is I mean, I don't know, I think 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70 countries they're gaining all the time that are joining BRICS. So the same thing that NATO has, that if you attack one, you attack them all. BRICS is sort of trying to begin to be that. So this is why people that are from NATO countries such as America and other countries that are part of that need to understand what you're saying, Mike, when you talk about Venezuela and you talk about these other countries that you think are just sort of, that's just why are we worried about that? Well, the tie to Russia and China is these countries are tied to BRICS. And BRICS has that same type of feel that NATO has. So everybody always talks about NATO. Will we retaliate if Poland is attacked and so forth? Well, this is the same thing with BRICS. So to tie into what you're saying about how this connects to Russia and China, there's BRICS in the mix. And I'm telling you right now, we are seeing the coming. Hey, this is the days of Noah, and the days of Noah includes wars and rumors of wars. And this is where we're at. We are winding it down, but I'm telling you, Mike, you know this as much as anybody in the world knows it. There is no greater time to be alive and to be in the kingdom than right now. Something did shift at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. I'm telling you, without a doubt, it was not emotion, just emotion. A spiritual, significant shift happened, and I believe that's why it's the role of a pastor is going to be different in this final day. It's not going to be just show up on Sunday morning and preach 3 points in a poem. You're going to
yeah.
have to be able to equip your people not only to the direct line upon line in the Word of God, but help them understand the conditions that are going on in the world. And that's why it's important that we have voices like you that are not afraid to speak to the deliverance ministry, to speak to training and equipping in an apostolic role. But also, when something happens in the world and people start freaking out, they need to have a safe place where they can come and hear what God is saying.
Amen. Come on. Well, listen, we got quite a few people on this live stream right now, and I want you, Daniel Clark's in the comment section. Many others. I've been featuring your comments over the last couple minutes. It says China, Russia, North Korea, India, Venezuela, all linked up together, and they've been watching the reports, and that's it. Clearly, the factions are forming. Do you guys remember the meeting, Larry? I'm sure you remember the meeting where all of the world powers of the East came together and this was that in and of itself was a provocation. It's like we
Yes.
had Putin come out and meet with the president of the United States of America and then leave that meeting and then link up with the psychopaths of North Korea and all the rest
Yeah.
of them. And it's like this is why these broadcasts are so important because in a world of mass deception and mass delusion, I trust a pastor who delves into journalism more than a journalist because you don't know who to believe, you don't know who to trust. And
Yeah.
I'll simply leave it on this, guys. For anybody who's been following my ministry, I literally 3 days before Charlie Kirk's assassination, the title of my sermon was "The Turning Point." I was probably the only pastor in the world preaching a message entitled "The Turning Point" 1 week before every other pastor in the world was preaching it.
Wow.
And that was
Yeah.
God's way of saying this thing is not political, it's spiritual. And he was
Yeah.
speaking to prophets, he was speaking to pastors, he was speaking to people. So I want you to stay connected. If you're new, smash the subscribe button so you can stay connected as this thing unfolds. I'm about to preach a couple prophetic messages over this weekend. I'm here with Jeremiah in North Carolina.
Mm.
But I want you guys to do this. Two things. Number one, I have my website pinned in the comments. I can't tell you what's over there, but I can say you need to go check it out. We literally just booted up an entirely new site today. So tap
Oh,
the
wow.
link that's pinned, go over to my new site. I've got some stuff there that I don't feel comfortable mentioning here, but just go over there and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then Larry Ragland, the pastor, the bishop, the man of God, we're going to link to his channel so that you can actually go over and join his broadcast here shortly where he's going to delve into this. But we have, let me just give the executive overview and then I'll pass it back to you for the final word, Larry. So here's what we've got going on right now. We've got conflict in the Middle East. We have Israel just did a pamphlet drop in the northern border of Gaza, which basically means we're getting ready to move in deeper. So we know that's happening. At the same time, you've got internet shills, tens of thousands of fake accounts that are pushing these propaganda-based messages on social media right now coming from China. You have Secret Service agents foil a plot for some really well-funded architecture in New York City within 35-minute radius all around New York City that could have shut down our entire cell phone grid.
Wow.
That's right now. And then you've got, of course, what I mentioned in Venezuela, which could very well be a proxy for BRICS and this alignment. And so,
Yeah.
and people are not putting it all together. What does that have to do with you? Watch, if you're any one of the 2,000 plus people on this live stream right now, people get ready.
Mm.
People get
Mm.
ready. Jesus is coming, but
Yep.
before there's an awakening of the church like never before. And there is the bride of Jesus Christ is going to be without spot, without blemish, and he's working all the wrinkles out. This really should be our finest hour. And
Yes.
so I'm telling you, last thing I want to say, and I'm going to say this tonight.
Mm.
ISIS has a newsletter. You shouldn't subscribe to it, but I'm saying ISIS has a monthly
Wow.
newsletter. I was going through the interpretation of that newsletter and literally the phrase that ISIS is using, because they just commissioned mass murder, mass death of Americans, and Jews, Jews and Americans. They just put that word out. But this is what they were saying. They called the phrase, to all the people subscribed to their newsletter, ISIS called them the lions of the caliphate. And
Mm.
I thought to myself, the devil is like a lion prowling around seeking who may devour. But we know that we serve another lion, the lion of the tribe of Judah, and we are lions. And so
Mm.
I don't think it's strange. The message I'm preaching tonight literally is entitled The Lions of the Kingdom, the Lions of
Wow.
North Carolina, the Lions of Alabama, the Lions. And it was
Mm.
so funny because the message that Satan put out through ISIS, through these demonic voices, is calling for the killing of Christians and Jews across
Wow.
America and Europe.
Yeah.
And it says, we're commissioning you, the Lions of the Caliphate. So I guess the question I have in the comments section is, which lion do you belong to? The
Mm.
lion of the tribe of Judah or the lion of Lucifer? And right now is a dividing line. So hit the thumbs up, share this message. Something big is coming, but God is preparing his bride for the end times. He's preparing us for a mass harvest. And Bishop Larry, I want to give you the last word, and then I'm going to link to your channel so everybody can jump
Okay.
over there.
Well, first of all, Pastor Mike, thank you so much for having me on your channel. Great honor anytime I can be with you, brother. I love you with the bottom of my heart, man. And man, I wish I was in North Carolina tonight. That's all I'm saying. I wish I was in that meeting, man. That's going to be the place to be. But thank you for having me on. But real quick, I'll be very fast. But one thing I want to remind everybody too, go to newsmax.com. They're really the only one that covered it. And I shared this with our security team at our church. This literally came out Saturday. Feds warn of new Al Qaeda plot in memo. And in that detailed memo, it talks about everything you're talking about. And it basically alludes to concerts, events. And it says that they're already here. The cells are already here. They're ready to be activated. And this is not to bring fear. This just lets you be aware of what's going on. They're going to thrift stores. They're going to surplus stores. They're buying up EMT and first responder outfits to pretend to be on the scene when they do these attacks. They are literally, our government is saying we have facts that this is coming. You need to have your head on a swivel, and you need to understand that on top of everything else, you had, what was it, over 150 countries just recognized Palestine as well. So there is a major world events happening before us. But remember, first the natural, then the spiritual. If things are shaking in the natural, even greater things are shaking in the spiritual. There is no greater time to be alive. We thank God for the great generals that have gone before us, all the great awakenings, but they all have one thing in common. They are with Jesus. They are not here. We are. And the pastors of today, it's not about the big names anymore. It's not about the superstar preachers. That day is over. It is about the pastors, the men of God, the fivefold ministry gifts that are saying, here I am, God. I'm ready to be your voice no matter what that looks like. So we rebuke fear and we speak faith in you. And you need to pick up, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and just say, here I am, God. Thank you for trusting me in this moment. It's time for us to shine.
Come on. Yes, power. Right there was the message. Listen, guys, I'm getting ready to sign off because I'm driving over to the conference tonight. Hey, for those of you who don't know, October 25th in Chicago, I'm going to be doing the Breakers Conference. We're filling up a stadium. Seats are going fast. That's at my website as well. We'll pin it in the comment. By the way, the last thing Charlie Kirk said to Donald Trump, our president, was save Chicago. And
Mm.
I don't think it's strange that I'm literally going into
Yeah.
Chicago to do a stadium event. Yes, there's going to be heavy security. There's going to be metal detectors. It's going to be safe. But I want to see you guys at the Now Arena, October 25th in Chicago. Drive out, fly out, get there. Last year, we saw medically verifiable miracles like crazy. My 18-year-old daughter prayed for someone, their blind eye opened right behind me in the front row. Were demons cast out of people, people free. I've got former witches and warlocks that are going to be speaking on stage. I've got pastors from all over that are going to pray. It's going to be incredible. You do not want to miss the Now Arena in Chicago, and you can get tickets at Ticketmaster. I've got them as cheap as they would physically allow me to do it, but make sure you don't miss history. When Charlie Kirk told President Donald Trump, save Chicago, the Lord already had a plan. So it's going down. I want to see you guys there. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to be at Breakers because it's almost sold out. So you got to get your ticket at Ticketmaster now. But Larry, love you so much. Thanks for jumping on last minute. Guys, he's getting ready to go live soon. Jump over there as well. I'll have that linked and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Hey, getting ready to jump off. I featured a lot of comments on the screen. I curated the comments and I picked out ones that I felt needed to be seen by more people. And, listen, I need you guys to help me mobilize for Chicago. This Friday on this page is going to be a massive prophetic word. We have over 100 watch parties for the premiere that's going to happen from this page you're on right now. And we have watch parties from Syria, from Netherlands, from Canada, from the United States, Latin America, and over 100 people said, "I'm going to open up my home, invite people over." And so this coming Friday, this is tomorrow, we're going to be premiering a Netflix special style prophetic word. So make sure that you have notifications, turn the bell on, and we have a mass mobilization team that we're forming. We've been praying every single day, starting yesterday, all the way till the end of October. And we're going to be praying like crazy, believing that God is going to completely fill up the Now Arena. And we're going to make a statement that God is not done with America. I have Jensen Franklin, Isaiah Saldivar, Jenny Weaver, Alexander Pagani, V1 Worship, Julie Signorelli. It's going to be an amazing time in Chicago, but we've got to show up and we've got to represent strong. So go to Ticketmaster, type in Mike Signorelli, type in the Breakers, and you'll find the tickets. Go to my website. Cannot wait to see you guys there. Love you so much. I'm out.